Sometimes you walk into a place and you got to reframe the room. How do you reframe a room? You walk in, man. First thing you do, as soon as you get in that doorway, you just pause. Sometimes I walk in a room and I just pause and I stand there. And I don't say nothing. I just look stoic. Just smile, but serious smile. You got to reframe the energy. Little guys, 5'10" and below, they're really good at this, especially the regular looking little guy with a great shoe collection. They're always looking at ways to introduce themselves into a room and get attention. But the attention they want is based on the things outside of them: shoes, clothes, jewelry. It's the bullshit guy's way of getting attention. But when you actually reframe a room on you, you got to step in and own it. Step in, stand in that doorway long enough for somebody to say, "Excuse me, sir, can you get out the way?" Like, "Oh, I apologize. Sometimes I do that." You got to make a statement when you're heard. You don't want to be that talkative guy that's saying too much, trying to get people's attention by doing too much. Sometimes you got to stand there, focus, lock in on the energy, and reframe some shit. Comment below if you know what I'm talking about. Because anytime you step into a room, there's multiple people in it trying to frame the room about to be what's comfortable to them. Look at life. Life is all about framing. That's why every city you go to in America, there's a Filipino town or a Little Italy or a boys' town where all the gay dudes go, or a part of town where all the black people are. That's framing. That's somebody trying to create an environment they're comfortable with so they can control it. It's human nature. But when you step in a room and you're trying to be that guy, you got to frame it. So now you've been in the room 15 minutes, you ain't said nothing. But the little 5'10" guy with all the Jordans and nice shoes, he keeps re-entering the room trying to reframe it. We've all met that guy that's small with a good shoe collection, and he keeps re-entering the room until people notice him. That's not framing, that's begging. You better learn to play with your energy the right way. And notice that little guy, because that's who is going to try to kill you off later. I call them little Hitlers. They're everywhere. Do you know Hitler was a artist, a sketch artist before he became a political leader? He was a failed sketch artist. He used to draw pictures of bridges and buildings, and nobody liked his art. So he had to keep re-entering the room until people noticed who he was. So this punk-ass reframer got a job working for the government as a spy. He would go to anti-German rallies and listen to what the people had to say and report it back to his superiors. So he couldn't make it as an artist, so he reframed himself as a snitch. And in one of these meetings he went to, because what y'all don't know about Hitler, the reframer, he was in the military. He fought in World War I as a mail carrier. He saw a lot of death. So during that time, he developed hatred for the people in power, which was a misappropriation of hatred, because he felt like they were the reason why Germany was sold out during World War I. A lot of people don't know that there was commissions, I'm saying the wrong word, but there were tariffs put on the country of Germany for spearheading World War I, where they had to pay back an exorbitant amount of money each year to the countries that defeated them in order to repay the debts that were acquired because of the destruction they caused in World War I. So he was one of those soldiers that felt the way about Germany being in a fucked up position after World War I, and he wanted to do something about it. So he went to a meeting of ex-soldiers from World War I that had these sentiments, and he enjoyed what they were talking about so much that he broke his cover. He re-entered the room. Now, in this meeting that he was supposed to be a fly on the wall at and report back to his superiors, he found an identity. He found a way to reframe who he was so people would notice him through this movement. He went home immediately. Oh, I found something. He burned his sketchbook full of art. This is bullshit. Nobody likes to look at paintings of bridges and buildings. They want to talk about Germany. Heinz Vix probably sounded like that when his punk ass said it. He reframed himself, walked back in the room as a budding political leader. Incredible. You got to do that when you walk in the regular rooms. You walk in, you stand in that doorway stoically. You just look, let people absorb you. Finally, you move out the way. Now people are not talking about you, but they feel your energy. Now you got to do something to stand out. So whatever's going on in the room before you got there is no longer important. What's important is what you're doing. You got to do something bold. You got to make a statement. Best thing to do is go find a corner, stand in it, but face the wall and not say something. Face the wall, don't say anything at all. Listen to the murmurs in the room about the guy standing facing the wall. Just stand there and look at the wall and don't say nothing. You know how many shoulder taps you're going to get? You know how unimportant what was going on before you got there becomes because you're standing in the room facing the wall, not saying nothing? That's a statement. Speaking statements. And when you finally talk and somebody taps you and says, "Excuse me, sir, are you okay?" You say, "Yes." The mind is to hold information. The lips are to change people. And be quiet. Because there's other people trying to frame the room, and now they're looking for ways to prove that whatever you own is bullshit, and whatever they own should supersede what you own. No, dominate the room with statements and a fucking manly stoic presence. Stop talking so much and just make a statement. Reframe the room, man. This is what you got to realize about people. Most people don't have a plan behind going wherever they are. Oh, I'm going to the mall. I'm going to the movies. I'm going to the party. I'm going to a club. I'm going to church. But most people don't have a plan about what they're going to do when they get there. All they do is get there and let somebody else control them because they want to go somewhere where the environment is framed. You got to make the schedule for the place you want to be in. You got to get people tuning in and running on your clock. Once you turn and pivot out that corner, you're going to say, "Look, this meeting is over at 5 o'clock. If anybody in here is still, if anybody's still present after 5, there's going to be trouble." You know what's going to happen after that? People going to start making plans to move and leave before 5 or 9 o'clock or whatever time I said. And every 15 minutes until that time, 9 o'clock, whatever time it is, you make an announcement. We got 45 more minutes before it goes down. Look at people start pivoting, backpedaling, and getting quiet. Because why? They focus on, what is this nigga on? I mean, what is he doing? Now, fuck what we talking about. What is the nigga in the corner on? He talking about we got 45 minutes. And every 2 minutes or so, call out the seconds. 52 seconds. 52 seconds to 5. That's how you frame a room. Now you have 30 minutes. We got 34 minutes. We got 30 minutes before all this shit is over with. They don't even know what over with means. But what happens is because the finality of what you're saying, they're going to tap into their own security so you know how to control them. At that 30-minute mark, they're going to start feeling away. What you mean we got 30 minutes? What did I do? What did I do? Why we only got 30 minutes? Huh? They're going to start asking you questions. Then at 15, you take off your jacket. Hold on, we got 15 minutes now. I got to yeah, buddy. We got 15 minutes and all this shit is over with. You know what I'm saying? It's all over with in 15. Yep. That's all we got left is 15 minutes. No, I ain't playing. Then when they get to 10 minutes, now the room is emptier. It was 400 people in there. Now we're down to 125. And them other 375 or them other 275, they've been calling people. They went home and told people. Some guy walked in the room, stood in the corner, and told us we had 45 minutes to get out of there, man. I don't know what happened, but I had to get the fuck up out of there. Then it's down to the 5-minute mark. Now the wait staff and the manager and the security is all standing in front of you. Then the countdown starts. You start counting down. 10. Now it's a SWAT team outside. 9. Now they got your mama on the phone. 8. Now they called your son at school. Daddy, don't do it. 7, 6, 5, 4. Now Jesse Jackson's in the parking lot. Well, he in a wheelchair. Now it ain't Jesse Jackson. It's Jesse Jackson Jr. 3, 2, 1. And you just say, praise God, leave. I love everybody. I just wanted to let y'all know that at 5 o'clock, I was going to tell everybody I love them. Bye. And leave. That's how you reframe a room as a man. You walk in, establish yourself. You find the corner. You don't say nothing. And then you establish a timeline. Go!